Hi, I'm Ada from Nigeria. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved working on cars with Grandpa.
Want to give this one a try?
Sure. Grandpa, this is so cool. I want to build cars one day and...
Build cars? Ew. That's not a girl's job.
That was my Aunt Chi. I was raised by her alongside her own daughter June after I lost my parents.
If that is what she wants to be, then you have no right to stop her. The sky is her starting point.
I felt grateful for Grandpa. He always believed in me, unlike Aunt who always tried to make my life miserable. Like this one time my aunt's daughter June and I were playing outside. We had so much fun playing mud. But when Aunt came out, she went ballistic when she saw how messed up our clothes were.
I bet this was all Ada's idea. June, if you continue to follow this rotten girl around, your future will be nothing but a dark shadow.
But Mom, it was my idea to make sand cakes. Please don't blame Ada.
Oh, please, June. Stop making excuses for her. She has always been nothing but trouble.
Why do you not like me, Aunt? I did nothing wrong. Don't worry about my mom, Ada. I think my mom is just jealous her dad likes you more than her.
June always knew how to cheer me up and would sometimes defend me from her mom. But by the time we hit puberty, June began to change. All she could talk about all day was boys and her looks.
What do you think about my hair? And look at the lipstick my mom got me. And guess who asked me out today?
There's more to life than boys, you know.
Why do you always have to be so boring?
Thanks to her mom's influence, June was becoming increasingly mean, and I was getting the brunt of it. One day when we were 14, we were on our way to church when June suddenly let out a scream.
Ah, I forgot to put on my earrings.
I'm sure you can survive today without it.
That's why you'll never make it in life. You are fashion blind. Now go get her earrings.
But our house is so far away now, and it's raining.
I said hurry up!
Aunt Chi made me trek all the way back home in the rain for a freaking pair of earrings. I came back drenched and so had to wait outside the church till the program was over. I was so mad at her and June.
You made me walk back in the rain for this!
Sorry, I just can't do without them. June might have had the ball in the court when at home, but at school, I stayed top of my class. But June kept flunking her classes up to 12th grade because she was too pretty to read. But her mom didn't seem to mind.
My teacher said I may not graduate high school at this rate.
You don't need good grades when you're this pretty. One day, one rich dude will sweep you off your feet and you won't have to suffer.
You should be telling her to read hard so she can find a good job and be rich herself.
Oh, shut up, grease monkey.
I couldn't wait to be free of those two and their low mentality. One Saturday, I accompanied June to go do her hair, and on our way there, we saw a guy strumming along on his guitar with a money bowl that only had chewing gum in it.
Wise men say only fools rush in.
Despite his ragged dreads and outfit, I could see the guy was handsome, but I also noticed he had eyes for June. The moment we were about to pass, he jumped before us and continued singing.
But I can't help falling in love with you. Hi, beautiful. Are you an electrician? Because you definitely lit up my day now.
Are you blind? You see a hot bod like this, and you assume I am an electrician?
It means he likes you.
Yeah, seriously, you're like an angel. Can I just have your number?
He gave her a piece of paper with a pen. June took the paper and spat on it, then gave it back to him. You're cute, but that's what I think of broke guys like you. Find a girl your class. That's rude. June walked away without an apology, and I felt so bad for the guy. Look, nice song there. I don't have money now, but maybe I can treat you to lunch tomorrow to apologize on my sister's behalf. I gave him my grandpa's business card.
Thanks.
I didn't expect he would take me up on my offer, but the next day, Grandpa and I were working on a truck when we started hearing someone playing on a guitar. It was the guitar guy from yesterday.
Hey, remember me?
Of course I remember you. A little. I realized then that I was covered in grease and wanted to disappear. I don't always look this dirty.
We have a saying that dirty-looking people are the richest. So what I am seeing on you is money, not dirt.
What?
I'm Austin.
Austin was all shades of sweet, and soon him coming over to the garage became a custom. He would keep me company with some jokes, music, or juicy gossip. Although I loved his melodious voice, sometimes I tried to persuade him to make better use of his time here, but he wouldn't listen.
No. Working with my hands is not my calling. Only singing.
So you want to be a singer?
Yup. And when I make it as a big star, I'm gonna credit my first music to you.
Though he talked a lot, he hardly said anything about his family, but I soon found out why. A few days to Christmas, we hung out at a lake resort. So, what are your plans for Christmas?
Christmas is for people who have family.
Wait, Austin, you don't have a family? Where do you live?
Nope, no family, and I live there.
Austin pointed at the city's bridge that was a bit in the distance and smiled sadly.
That's my home, Ada, under that bridge.
My heart broke for him that day, and I invited him over to Aunt's place for Christmas dinner. It was the only time she was at her nicest, but I made the big mistake of forgetting to tell her beforehand. Christmas came, and just as we had settled down for dinner, Austin arrived. Aunt Chi, I'm so sorry that I forgot to tell you that I invited my friend. Please meet Austin.
This penniless wannabe musician is your friend?
June, be nice. Austin doesn't have a family to celebrate Christmas with.
Is that so? Oh, Austin, come in and sit.
I sighed in relief at Aunt's friendly tone, but tensed again when I saw her pass a knowing look at June.
Thank you for having me.
What will you have, dear? There's fried rice, chicken, meat pie, and juice.
Anything, really.
To my horror, she picked up a plate with a dishing spoon and began to scoop nothing into the plate while June giggled like a maniac.
That's fried rice, chicken, meat pie, and orange juice. Enjoy.
I felt myself boil in anger. You can have mine.
No thanks.
Austin insisted that he go home, and when he left, I went off at Aunt and June. This is just too much. Are poor people worms to you? You don't respect even your own dad.
Don't yell at me, you ungrateful worm. You have some guts bringing in that stinky brat here.
I didn't see Austin again for about 3 days, but when I did, I was surprised to see him all smiles. Austin, what's going on?
I won a local music competition. A foreign music agency wants me over in the US to sign me up. I will be leaving early next year.
You're going to the USA?
I told you I was gonna make it big.
He was so excited, and I was happy for him, but I was going to miss him. On New Year's Eve, we met again at the bridge for the last time before he traveled, and somehow the atmosphere was just thick. I'll miss you, Austin. He looked at me and our faces grew closer together, and just as the fireworks ensuing the new year went off, Austin gave me a light kiss. It was like fireworks went off in my heart.
Then wait for me. I'll come back.
I did wait, but I made sure to keep busy. With my savings and Grandpa's support, I pursued my dream course, automotive technology, in a university, while June became a model. 3 years passed and I began to lose hope of ever seeing Austin again. But one day while I was home trying to complete a project, June suddenly let out a scream.
It can't be!
I rushed out to see her. June, what's going on? Look who's on the television! It was Austin on TV being interviewed. He was now a big star and was coming back to Nigeria for a concert. Mom, I have to go to that concert. He's rich now. I have to see him.
Yes, you'll go, June. Use your charm. Beg his forgiveness.
Seriously? Because he's popular now? That's the same guy you humiliated 4 years ago. It made me so mad to have to go to the concert with June, but I had to see Austin. The concert hall was packed with people, and then Austin appeared on stage. Oh my god! Is that him? He looks like a demigod! He really did. I had to stop myself from drooling the way June was, his singing through the crowd in a frenzy, and when he finished, I snuck backstage so I could see him. I found a door wide open, and when I looked in, Austin was in the room, but so was June, and she was all over him. I realized I was so wrong, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
You're the one who took my breath away the very first time I saw you. Of course I forgive you.
What's going on here?
Oh, Mary, right?
Wait, you don't know my name again? You told me to wait for you after you kissed me.
Oh, did I? Well, that kiss was a spur-of-the-moment action, you know. June and I make a better couple. She's a model, and I'm a singer. You're just a mechanic. Nah, won't work.
Ew, I'm grossed out just thinking about it. Wait, do you even remember how she treated you?
Because I was poor, but now I am rich and can get anything I want, including her. See?
Angry tears filled my eyes, but I forced them back because Austin didn't deserve them. The insensitive moron went ahead to try and kiss June in my presence, so I took off my shoes to throw at his head, but they hit June instead.
Ow!
Ouch, my head. It hurts. I guess the shoe decided you deserved it more. Austin had his security kick me out, and when June later came home, she told Aunt I had attacked her, and Aunt threw out my things.
We can't accommodate an enemy of progress like you in our house.
Well, I can't stand to live with shallow people like you anymore. And good luck with Austin. You're two stupid people that deserve each other. I moved into Grandpa's garage, and he welcomed me warmly.
Stay as long as you'd like. Honestly, I am impressed you tolerated your Aunt Chi this long. She's my daughter, but I can't stand her.
Austin and June's betrayal still hurt, but I pushed on. And one day, my life completely changed. I was returning from the grocery store one day when I saw a brand new Chevrolet parked on the roadside with several mechanics all over it. Hey, what's going on here?
The owner got it from her husband, took it for a drive today, and it just broke down. No one has been able to fix it, and she doesn't trust any mechanic to take it to his workshop.
I approached one of the mechanics, and when I told him I would love to take a look at the car,
You? Come, guys, back off. This little girl says she could fix what 5 men can't.
all eyes were on me as I popped the hood. It was the longest 20 minutes of my life, but I soon found the fault and the car roared with life. The men were gaping when I came out of the car, and a reporter rushed towards me.
Hello, ma'am. Please tell us your name and how you managed to fix this car these men had been working on for hours.
I have lifelong experience fixing cars. If you want to know more, you can visit my garage. I gave the reporter my card and ran away from all the curious eyes. The next morning, our garage was swamped with drivers wanting their cars serviced. The video of me fixing the car had gone viral, and almost everyone wanted me to become their car mechanic. In just a few days, I got enough money to expand Grandpa's garage, hire some workers, and buy a cozy house for him and I nearby.
I'm going to leave this world as a happy old man.
Leave this world to where? You're stuck with me, old man. After my graduation and National Youth Service, and I got multiple offers to manage different automobile companies. Life was good, and so busy I almost forgot the people from my past. But one day, I had a rude reminder. I went to a restaurant when I noticed the couple across about to be arrested by security. We will pay the bill later, my idiot husband.
Your idiot husband? You wasted all my money!
I felt pity for them. How much is their bill? I will pay.
Hey, thank this lady over here. She just paid for your bill.
The couple turned to look at me, and my world froze. It was Austin and June. The sight of them brought back bitter memories, so I stood up to go. I had just reached my car when I heard Austin behind me.
Ada!
What is it?
Wow, you look different. In a good way.
You look different too, but not in a good way. He was so thin and harrowed.
It's all your cousin's fault. She ate all my money and reverted to a nagging crone. Please forgive me. If I leave June, would you marry me?
I saw red. I popped open the bottle of water I had taken from my table and threw it on him. Shame on you, Austin. June is pregnant, for goodness sake. You know what? I should be thankful to her. She saved me from being with a rotten, selfish jerk. I'll not be anybody's second choice, and I won't take leftovers either. I got into my car and drove off, my heart aching for my cousin and the horrible man she had married. Girls, we don't need some prince to rescue us or some rich man to free us from hardship. Work hard, be focused, and you'll see, you'll be your own hero.
Hi, I'm Sasha. I grew up with a single father, and he loved me to bits. But sometimes he was a bit over the top about his love for sports. He was my biggest fan.
Go, Bolt! Go! That's my girl! Watch out, world! The next Usain Bolt is coming!
Dad was a figure skater during his teen years. My mom left us when I was 2 without any reason, and ever since, he was my everything. We were so close that despite his family's effort to make him remarry, he insisted he was fine and didn't need any female help to raise me.
If her real mom can't take care of her, what woman can?
Though he did his best, one day it dawned on him that he had no idea how to raise a little girl. One time, we were invited to a wedding, and Dad bought matching male suits for us to twin in.
Look, Sasha, we're going to twin in this.
But Dad, it makes me look like a boy.
Who cares? You look good to me.
At his insistence, I wore the suit to the wedding, and I was the laughing stock of the party.
Oh, someone missed her calling as a boy. Will you shut it? Or what? You'll slap me? I bet you can't raise your hand in that stiff suit.
I was really about to hit her, but then my dad and Aunt Vanya showed up.
Okay, someone has a lot of time on her hands. Why don't you go help serve the food?
But-
That's an order. Sasha, are you okay?
Before I could speak, Aunt Vanya enveloped me in a hug. She was a policewoman, and though she was the most pushy in my dad's family about him getting married, she was the one that cared about us the most.
Oh, poor you. Of course she isn't okay. If only you had a wife, she would have dressed Sasha properly for the occasion.
That finally sealed the deal for Dad, and from that day, he began to date woman after woman, trying to find the one he would marry so they could better connect with and take care of me. Eventually, I got tired of all the women and told Dad,
It's okay, Dad. I can take care of myself.
But Sasha, you're only 8.
Don't worry. That's why we have Google.
and so from then on, I took charge. I would watch YouTube tutorials to cook.
Hit or miss.
Is there sugar in this?
Yep.
Sometimes I would iron his shirt, and of course, I now shopped for my own dresses. One day, we were cleaning out Dad's room together when I saw a framed picture of his younger self with a red-haired girl.
Dad, who's this?
Dad took the picture from me and got the saddest expression on his face.
That's Harley, my former skating partner.
Did something happen to her? You never told me why you quit ice skating so young.
It's not something I like to talk about, Sasha. Please just drop it.
I bit back my questions and focused on keeping our home together. The more I grew, the more I got better at doing things. This included my athletic skills. In fact, my life was good until one evening when I was 15, Dad made an announcement as soon as he came back from work that changed my life forever.
Guess what, Sasha? I finally found her! My missing rib!
My fork fell out of my hands as I flew to his side.
Oh my god, Dad! Why didn't you tell me your rib was missing? Which side? How did it—
No, Sasha. I mean, I've seen the woman I want to marry. The woman that will be your new mom.
Oh, I thought we abandoned the babysitter project years back. I don't need any woman to take care of me. I'm a big girl now.
I know, but it's not just about a woman to take care of you now, Sasha. I'm in love with her, and I want her by my side. It would make me happier.
Looking at Dad then, I could see the lovesick expression those in movies wore that made me want to puke. And though I felt a bit jealous that I wasn't the center of Dad's attention anymore, I knew I couldn't be selfish. Well, if she makes you happy, then I welcome her with all my heart.
Sasha, you're the best daughter in the world.
Dad's raw excitement made me eager to see her. But the next day when she arrived, I almost peed myself. Her face was full of makeup, bright red lipstick, and long artificial nails that made her look like a beautiful, dangerous witch. But of course, I didn't want to judge a book by its cover, so I played nicely.
Sasha, meet Eva, the woman I told you about. Eva, meet Sasha, my darling, sweet daughter, a blessing from above.
I was bright red, mostly from embarrassment at Dad's flattering words, but Eva didn't look happy at all.
Hello, daddies. Everything. Your dad always talks about you.
Hello, Eva. Welcome to our home.
Okay, I have to meet a client right now. Sasha, be a dear and show Eva around, okay?
Sure.
Dad leaned in and pecked Eva on the cheek, and when he leaned in to peck me too, Eva suddenly threw an arm around me.
I can't wait for you and I to bond.
Dad left, and I took Sasha to the guest room. Dad and her weren't married yet, so she was still officially just a guest.
Here's your room.
It's nice. There's yours.
I pointed over to mine, and in a flash, Eva was in my room with her luggages and unpacking.
Oh, this room of yours is much more lovely and spacious. Let's room together.
You rather share a room than have yours?
Of course. I want to spend every precious second knowing my stepdaughter to be.
I liked my privacy a lot, so even though I did want to bond with her, I completely disliked the idea of sharing my room with her. She was still practically a stranger for Pete's sake. So when Dad arrived, I kind of complained to him so that he could talk her out of it. But when he did, Eva brought on the waterworks.
I was just trying to be a good stepmom.
At the sight of her tears, Dad turned 180 degrees on me.
Oh, Sasha, you promised to welcome her with all your heart.
But Dad—
Look, your room is big enough for 2 people, but if you don't want to share, you can take the one we prepared for her instead.
I was so mad at Dad for the unfair judgment, but just so I won't appear like the bad guy, I let her have her way. And it was the worst night ever. Eva took up all the bed space, shoving me into a corner where I fell off several times. I was forced to spend the rest of the night in the guest room. Soon, it became obvious that Eva didn't like me. She kept doing things to annoy me, using my stuff without my permission, clinging to Dad whenever he was around so I wouldn't even have a chance to talk to him. But Dad was so head over heels, I didn't know how to prove to him that Eva was a bit troublesome. One time, I had some of my friends over for a movie. We were in the middle of watching it when Eva strolled in dressed in yoga pants and switched the channel. Eva, we were just watching a movie.
And I want to watch a free yoga class.
Yoga? Who does yoga in the evening?
Me!
Seeing that Eva was out to quarrel, my friends left and I was so enraged.
Eva, what is wrong with you? I try to be good and polite, but you're really pushing it.
Oh, I'm only just getting started, honey.
Her response pushed me off the edge.
Thanks for the heads up. Now I just have to make sure you won't ever become Dad's wife.
Good luck with that.
That was how Operation Get Eva Out started. First, I had to get evidence to show Dad that Eva was far from the angel he thought he had found. So when she left for a stroll with Dad one weekend, I snuck into the room she snatched from me to find something that could implicate her. But instead, I found something that confused me. In one of her bags, I was shocked to see the same picture of Dad with a red-haired girl, but in print only. There were other pictures, and they all had my dad in them from that time up until now. There was even several pictures where I was present too.
Oh my god, how does she have all these pictures?
At the sound of Eva and Dad returning, I rushed out of the room before I could get caught. I couldn't tell what Eva's possession of all those pictures meant. Maybe she was a crazy fan of Dad? Perhaps a stalker? Neither sounded good. The next evening, I decided to show Dad the pictures and see if he could make sense of them. But before I could knock, Dad came out grinning like he won the lottery.
Sasha, just who I wanted to see. Guess what? There's a national racing competition coming up, and your school just informed me that they would like you to represent them.
Yeah! Best news ever!
The winner is getting a scholarship through any university of her choice, and a huge cash prize. I know you're going to break a leg. Break a leg indeed. Let me see that. Ha! National Olympics! There's no way a newbie like you is going to win. Sasha is a really good athlete. She can win.
Even if I don't win, it's just a big opportunity to do what I love on a national scale. Winning is just an extra.
Really? We'll see.
I really meant what I said then, but it didn't stop me from working hard for the competition. Eva would always come around to watch me, and I just ignored her. Even the pictures I wanted to show Dad took a back seat in the meantime. As a morale boost, Dad ordered me a beautiful pair of trainers, and I was surprised to see them in Eva's hands just a day to the competition.
Hey, what are you doing with my shoes?
Oh, I just cleaned them for you.
They're new. They don't need cleaning.
I think I owe you an apology for how I've been treating you. Please forgive me.
My jaw dropped when she went down on her knees. That's okay. Please get up now.
We'll be besties from now on.
Sounds great. Though I said that, I was still suspicious of the sudden change. So when she left, I quickly peeked inside the shoes to see if she had somehow put any booby trap inside to ruin my day tomorrow. But it was all clear. Had she really turned a new leaf? The next day, Dad and Eva accompanied me to the competition arena, and I changed into the sports gear. My shoes felt strange as I walked, but I chalked it up to being paranoid since I saw Eva with them. I should have paid more attention though, because the second the whistle blew and we took off, I had barely taken a step forward when I slipped and fell smack to the ground. Dad, Eva, and many others were around me in seconds, but I could barely talk with the pain in my ankle.
Her ankle might be fractured. She needs to go to the hospital now.
They helped me up, and with one look at Eva's smirking face, I knew she had done something.
Oh, there's no way she can run now. Of course, let's just take her to the hospital.
Wait! I raised my foot and looked at the sole of my shoes, and just as suspected, I saw that all the grooves had been sanded off. It hadn't occurred to me to check the sole yesterday. Now it was so smooth, there couldn't be any friction between it and the ground. That's why I fell.
Whoa! What kind of person made these terrible shoes? I'm going to sue the company!
I knew exactly why my shoes were that way, but I bit my tongue for the meantime. Leaving the competition meant Eva had won, and I wouldn't give her that satisfaction. So I pulled off my shoes, and everyone watched in shock as I walked back to the line.
Sasha, what are you doing? You're limping.
Without looking back, I took off running. Well, more like limping. The stadium went quiet as they watched me, and when the other athletes began to cross the finish line while I kept going, they went wild cheering for me.
Can you believe it? Sasha Chin, our youngest competitor, continues barefoot despite her injury. This is record-breaking.
Of course, I didn't win. In fact, I came in last place. But that day, I was hailed an inspiration to all for not giving up till the finish line, and that alone made me so happy. Bitterness was written all over Eva's face when I finally met up with them.
Honey, that was so reckless of you, but oh my god, you're so awesome!
Thanks, Dad. Now, Eva, what moved you to eliminate the grooves in my shoes? And don't try to deny it. I have a live picture of how those shoes were before you ruined it. That was a lie, but I just had to make Eva confess.
What? Eva, you did what? Oh, stop flapping your mouth like a dumb fish. You go on and on about your perfect daughter who is great at sports. How dare you after you ruined my own career? 26 years ago, if only you paid attention and caught me, I wouldn't be limping. Wait, you're Harley?
Dad and I watched in horror as Eva pulled off her wig, revealing bright red hair like the girl in the picture from Dad's ice skating days.
Correct. All this has been a well-staged arrangement to get back at you for ruining my life, for failing to catch me.
While she was ranting, I noticed Aunt Vanya come up behind her, holding a recorder and asking me to be quiet. I had invited her to the competition, and though she was late, I couldn't think of any better timing.
But that wasn't my fault. You were so desperate to win, you insisted on that risky stunt. Whatever. I just hope your daughter's limp is permanent. If that's so, then forget her showy display today. Her career would be over, like mine was.
I wonder what the police would say about everything you just confessed to.
I don't see anyone calling the police. Your word against mine, honey.
Eva turned white when she saw my aunt waiting for her with a glare and holding up a recorder.
Your confession is on record. You're under arrest, ma'am.
While Eva was arrested, I finally let Dad take me to the hospital so my ankle could be checked. I had just suffered a minor sprain and would be fine in days. Better yet, though I came in last place, everyone at the stadium had voted for me to return for the next round in a few weeks if the doctor gave me the clear. So Harley is why you quit skating, huh?
Yes. To impress, she was always coming up with moves that were very risky. What happened to Harley was an accident, but it shook me up so badly I quit. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you or listen to you.
It's okay, Dad. You were in love. Guess that's what they mean when they say love is blind, right?
That's the last woman for me, Sasha.
Oh, come on, Dad, don't worry. You'll still find her one day. The woman that will be your missing rib, and maybe your left kidney too.
I've missed you, honey. You're the greatest love of all.
With my consent, Dad dropped the charges against Eva, aka Harley, so she could go her way in peace, and we went back to the good old days of just the two of us. I learned the importance of not keeping secrets in the family, and I hope one day to inspire more young people to never give up doing what they love, even when there are obstacles. Hi, I'm Jewel. Thank you for tuning in to STA. Please like and subscribe. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved painting. My favorite artist was Georgia O'Keeffe. Once I felt so inspired by her works that I started painting the walls of my room, and then my parents walked in.
Ah! Is that fire? Did somebody say fire? Oh!
It's not fire, Mom. It's just paint. See?
This is a mess! When will you stop playing around with paint? Oh, Jewel, we've told you to invest your time better by reading and becoming a lawyer.
Well, I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an artist.
My parents were big-time politicians who gave me almost everything I asked for, but life with them wasn't easy. Thanks to their career, they were always obsessing over what the media and people would say about them that they wouldn't let me live a normal life. I wasn't even allowed to wear the same outfit twice.
Oh, honey, didn't I just buy you a dashing Gucci gown for this party?
But Mom, I love this gown, and besides, I've only worn it once.
Listen to your mom and wear the new one. I don't want people wagging their tongues that I can't take care of my family.
Apart from being obsessed with what people were or were not saying about them, my parents were also paranoid of my safety. I wasn't even allowed to go to school without my personal security guards. Thanks to that, most of my classmates shied away from me. Hey, I'm Jewel. Can we be friends?
I gotta go.
And the ones who didn't shy away practically kissed my feet just to roll with me, and I hated that.
Hey, I love your hairdo. I'm sure your parents paid a ton for it. Everything you wear is so chic.
This hair is like this because I haven't combed it for 3 days now.
Oh, well, it's still gorgeous.
The situation at school made me very lonely, and it didn't help that my parents wanted me to be their only child. No matter what I did, they wouldn't budge on the matter. One day we were shopping, and I was so drawn by the cute little things in the baby section.
Look, Mom, isn't this onesie cute?
True, but there's no one in our family it would fit.
I grinned because Mom had fallen into my trap with those words.
Can't we just buy it now and keep it for when you have my baby brother or sister? Please?
Mind what you say in public. The tabloids can be anywhere. Jewel, you have all the toys in the world. How could you possibly be lonely? I won't ruin my shape to get another baby.
Then adopt.
No way!
My parents had more than enough to take care of a dozen more children, so I couldn't understand why they would neither give birth to another nor adopt. I kept pushing for it, until one time when I was 13, I took it a little bit too far. They were in a press meeting, and I just walked in on them.
So, Dad, Mom, you haven't told me why I can't have a brother or sister.
Mom and Dad went red in the face and began to sputter.
Honey,
The press had a field day, and my parents were so embarrassed and angry. They exploded on me as soon as we were alone.
Never you, ever in your life ask us about having siblings again!
But I want one.
Well, that's one thing you can never have. Don't be so greedy. Pull a stunt like this again, and I'm going to get rid of every single painting you think we don't know about.
I couldn't bear to have anything happen to my hard work, so after that incident, I stopped asking them for a sibling. I almost resigned my life to one of loneliness. But when I turned 15, a ray of sun burst into my life. In the 10th grade, we were introduced to a new art teacher.
Hello, everyone. I am Miss Millicent. I will be your art teacher henceforth.
On that first day, she asked us to present our best artwork. Seeking to impress, I threw all my passion into my painting. But just as I finished, students had gathered around and were laughing at it.
This should be awarded the grossest painting of the century.
I wanted to burst out with anger, but of course if I did anything like that, it was sure to be on the headlines tomorrow. So I grabbed the canvas to take it down, but out of nowhere Miss Millicent grabbed my hand.
Hey, let me see that.
I gave her the painting and waited for more criticism, but she began to gush over it instead.
Wow, is this a girl hatching from a bird's egg? It's so beautiful. This is my favorite art so far.
Thanks.
What's your name, girl?
I'm Jewel. Even though we were at least 17 years apart, Miss Millicent took a liking to me, and trust me, the feeling was mutual. We would hang out in her office or at the school studio during breaks. And one day she even invited me to see her art at home, but that took an unexpectedly horrible turn. I'm so sorry. I can't make it.
What? Why?
My parents don't even approve of my career choice. They will just go bonkers.
Oh, don't worry. I have first-hand experience with strict parents. I can put in a word across to them for you. Can you give me their number?
My parents never liked me giving their number to outsiders, but I figured it was okay since Millicent and I were friends now. That's my mom's.
Her name? It's funny, I don't even know your family name.
Mrs. Holly Holloway. The moment I mentioned that name, Millicent seemed to freeze over and stared at me like I had grown 2 heads. I was quickly uncomfortable. Are you okay?
You're Holly Holloway's daughter?
Yes, I am Jewel Holloway. What? Without any explanation, she walked out on me. Millicent stopped being nice to me. She wouldn't even spare me a glance in class, and would shun me if I tried to get close to her. It got to the point I couldn't take it anymore.
Did my mom offend you? Why are you ignoring me ever since I told
Why
you?
don't you ask your parents instead?
For several days, asking my parents to know what Millicent's deal was an impossible feat because they were out on a campaign and could only spare pleasantries whenever we talked. I was so restless with curiosity. Thankfully, I soon discovered what was behind her change of attitude. We had a school project, and I had to get some items from the basement for it. As I was searching, my hands hit a dusty wooden box hidden at the back of the shelf.
What? What's this dusty stuff?
Let me guess. Another vintage jewelry used and abandoned by Mom. But when I opened the box, I was stunned to see a picture of a girl with black hair and green eyes. Who is this pretty girl? Beneath the photo was a letter, and when I read it, "Hello, Mom and Dad. It's been 2 months since you last sent me." I couldn't believe my eyes. The girl was calling my parents Mom and Dad and asking them for some money. Did my parents have a child I didn't know about? I had to meet her and get answers, but I knew I wouldn't be successful if the guards followed behind me, so I sneaked out of the house. An hour later, I arrived at the address printed on the letter and knocked at the door, and when it opened, I was shocked to see
Miss Millicent?
Looking at her now, I could see she was the girl in the picture.
What are you doing here?
You sent my parents a letter. You called them. Suddenly, she pulled me into the house and shut the door.
I sent them that letter years ago. I have a job now, so I don't need their help.
Who are they to you exactly?
Your parents, Jewel, are my parents too. But simply, I am your big sister.
By that time, I had put 2 and 2 together, but it was still shocking to hear. How?
Our parents had me when they were very young, and things were really good for us. But 17 years later, after they gave birth to you, you became the apple of their eyes, and I became like a stranger. They would snap at whatever I did or said. I couldn't take it.
What happened?
After a verbal match, they termed me rebellious and sent me away to live with Mom's sister. I left as soon as I reached adulthood.
By the time Darcy was done telling her story, I was so mad at Mom and Dad.
All of that sounds like teenage hormones acting up. It's not enough to send you out.
Well, you're right, but the harm has been done. They don't care about me anymore, and that's why I had to stop talking to you. If they know we're in contact, they would go angry bull mode and think I have somehow influenced you. Please go.
But we're sisters.
Just pretend like you never met me.
She shooed me out of her house, and I went home angry at my parents for keeping me away from the sibling I had longed for years. But I was also excited to know I had a big sis and wanted to know everything about her. So I deafened my ears for her request for me to stay away from her. That's why I kind of showed up at her house the next day.
What part of pretend you never saw me don't you understand?
I'm just hanging out at your porch. Pretend I'm not here.
You know I can't do that. Come in.
Oh, you don't have to. But thank you.
Good grief.
The ice broke between Darcy and I when I stumbled into her makeshift studio. I was blown away with the pencil work she had.
Whoa, these drawings are amazing.
You really think so?
I'm itching to paint one. Can I?
Let's try one then.
Together, we painted one of them and it was so amazing.
We make a good team.
Eventually, my sister warmed up to me, and we even resumed hanging out together at school. As much as I wanted to confront my parents with what they had done, I kept to myself because Millicent was convinced it would just make things worse. But like most secrets, I couldn't hide it forever. After I graduated high school, my parents prepared a special dinner night to celebrate.
So, Jewel, we picked a law school for you to attend now that you graduated.
Picked a law school for me? Who asked you to do that?
We are just doing what is best for you.
What's best for me is letting me do what I love that makes me happy.
It's either this
Or
or...
what? You send me away like you did Millicent?
I slapped my hand over my mouth at the mention of Millicent, but it was too late.
How did you know about Millicent?
Since the cat was out of the bag, I figured I might as well point out their unfair treatment to her.
I can't believe that all these years I wanted a sibling, you didn't care to let me know I already had one. What kind of parents are you? How did you become so consumed with your career? Your children became disposable.
I left them gaping in shock and went to my room, hoping that their conscience would prick them enough to bring Millicent first thing in the morning. But they did the opposite. I went to my former high school the next day to find a crowd outside my sister's empty office.
What's going on here? Two bald men came in here some minutes ago and whisked Miss Millicent away into a limo.
The description of them fit my bodyguards. It was obvious that my parents were involved in this, and they didn't deny it when I confronted them.
Where did you take her?
We gave her a new place to live. She's our daughter, all right? We can never hurt her. Just do what we ask you to do, and you can see her again.
Are we having this conversation again? No, I will not compromise on my future.
It's that, or you say goodbye to us being your parents. The luxury you're living in will be gone.
I will give up that luxury 1,000 times for my freedom and happiness.
Jewel!
Now may I please have her whereabouts? I think I might just move in with her. Be sure to wipe out records of me as your daughter as well.
Seeing that my mind was made up, my parents had no choice but to give me my sister's new address. I packed up and went straight to the place, only to see her leaving with a suitcase.
Millicent!
Jewel, what are you doing here? With a bag?
I left them. I refuse to be their puppet anymore. Where are you going? Isn't this the house they gave you?
Well, I don't want their stupid handouts in house. I am leaving the city.
I'm coming with you.
Are you sure? Things will be a bit tough.
Trust me, I have had my full share of tough.
We moved to another city far away, and to support ourselves, we went into the art-making business full-time, auctioning each finished one. We made good money, enough for me to start college, and without my ex-bodyguards hovering over me, I made many friends. For 2 years, we didn't hear anything from our parents, and we didn't contact them either, though I missed them a good deal. One day, Millicent came home with big news.
Jewel, you've got to look at this. Big couple politicians resign for unknown reason.
Our parents resigned? For real? Could we be the unknown reason?
We would have to wait and see.
When we didn't hear anything from them many months after that news, we concluded that their resignation didn't have anything to do with us. But one day, a fast-rising art collector asked to see our studio, and when they arrived...
Millicent! Jewel!
Mom? Dad?
Mom and Dad knelt before us.
Millicent, Jewel, we are so sorry. We didn't realize how selfish and greedy we have become until some months back. Please forgive us and let us come back as a family again.
It's been over 2 years since I left, many more since Millicent, and you expect us to
That's our business card, Jewel. We know we have wronged you two so much that a sorry wouldn't cut it. That's why after we dropped our career, we took up something better fitted for our children's interest. We are art collectors now. And Millicent, we are so sorry. We didn't know how to balance having a new baby with a teenage daughter. Please forgive us.
It wasn't easy, but over time I forgave them, and eventually Millicent did too. We got back together as a family.
My former colleagues would pay richly for your artworks. They are so unique.
And thanks to our parents becoming our marketeers, we soon became a flourishing family business. The luxury I lived in before forever remained in the past, but I got something better. Loving, attentive parents, a big sister, and a simpler, free life. And that's life, guys. It's either this or that. Just make sure that when you choose what truly makes you happy. Something with lasting value, like family.
Say cheese!
Hello, I'm Hamari, and I'm from Australia. Please like and subscribe to STA. Growing up, I was a fun and brave little girl, and everyone loved me. But not everyone loved Marcus, a boy my age at school. He was so nervous around kids, and because of this, they took advantage of him. There was this one time, Marcus was flying his paper plane, and then I saw a group of bigger guys snatch it away. Marcus ran away nervously, but I took him right back to the boys.
Marcus, if you keep running, these boys will always push you around. Come on, we're going back for your plane.
But it's just a piece of paper. I don't need it.
I ignored his fears, took his hand, and marched back to the boys.
You boys have something of his, and you will give it back right now. What are you gonna do, shorty?
I showed him that dynamite comes in small packages. And after they gave Marcus his plane, he asked me something.
Can we be friends? And you can teach me how to be brave like you.
Say that again. Louder, please. We became the best of friends after that, and as we grew up, the more confident he became, and the more I grew fond of him. Marcus and I became so close that people thought we were a couple. But he was like a brother to me, and he would do anything for me, like even catch a bee in his bare hands.
Ah! Marcus, help! Got it!
I hugged him tightly, and then I quickly let go at the sound of my boyfriend's Ferrari. Aaron was my man. We met while starring in a popular teen sitcom. Yep, I'm a celebrity, but I worked hard to get there. Unlike Aaron, whose dad was the producer of the show we starred in. Aaron was also very overprotective.
Hey, babe, what are you doing here on the dirty grass?
Don't be silly, babe. Where else do people have picnics? As Aaron hugged me, I could see Marcus's mood change because Aaron and him never clicked.
I see your best friend has been feeding you crackers and cheese again. Amari, when are you gonna dump this fool? Because clearly, he has no idea what good food tastes like.
Marcus loved cooking, and he was always treating me to his meals. Aaron, sweetie, why don't you meet me in the car, and I'll help Marcus pack up.
Okay. I can't wait till you see that restaurant I booked for us.
Aaron always took me out to the most expensive places, but this time, while we were there, a gorgeous model approached our table.
Hey, Aaron. I thought you would be at the club today. Everyone was asking for you.
I'll be there later. Just having dinner with my friend.
A friend? Is that what I am to you? Just a friend?
He looked at me silently, and I lost my mind and threw my soda in his face.
Happy Friends Day, Aaron! Jerk!
As I walked away, he ran after me, but the blonde girl was right behind him, and I became even more mad.
Hamari, wait! I didn't mean it like that!
Oh, let her go. She clearly doesn't want you, but you can be my boyfriend.
I turned into a total psycho when she said that, and I jumped on the girl and started pulling at her hair. And before I knew it, reporters suddenly filled the area taking pictures of me.
Hamari, you're embarrassing yourself!
It's over, Aaron! Don't ever speak to me again!
Days later, every magazine and newspaper had my face in the front page, with me pouncing on the blonde girl, and they called me the she-devil. And Mom was on panic mode, since my acting job paid half the mortgage for our house.
Amari, what were you thinking? We depend on your acting job to pay the bills. If you lose that, then I would have to work 24 hours at the hospital.
I didn't lose my job, Mom. It's just bad publicity. Mom worked as a nurse, and she's been my backbone since my dad left us when I was just 2 years old. I stayed indoors for the past few days, trying to avoid all the gossip that was going on. I refused to leave my room until Marcus entered.
Can I come in?
I immediately jumped out of bed when I saw Marcus and hugged him tightly.
Is that a cheese beanie you have on? Thank God you came, Marcus. She's been sulking in bed for days. Maybe you can also convince her to take a bath.
I'm so glad to see you. Where have you been? You look different, like you've been losing weight.
Don't worry about me. Let's talk about you.
I feel like hiding in a hole for the rest of my life.
I'm sure this will cheer you up.
Marcus knew exactly how to make me feel better. And when I took a big bite into the chocolate, I spat it out when Aaron suddenly appeared. Mom, why did you let him in?
Listen, things got out of control that night. I shouldn't have called you my friend. You are so much more, and you know that. The blonde girl was just a groupie. Please, Amari, don't do this to us.
When Aaron wanted to get closer to me, Marcus stepped forward and mugged at him.
This is none of your business, Marcus. She doesn't want to speak to you, moron. Amari, please, let me explain.
I looked at Aaron, and my heart usually melted just looking at his puppy dog eyes. So I gave him a chance to speak to me. Marcus, it's okay. I'll see you later.
You can't be serious, Amari. He's the reason the whole country is hating on you. Don't make things worse, Mr. Cracker Cheese Beanie.
Marcus looked at me disappointed, but Aaron and I have been in a relationship for 6 months. I couldn't just throw that all away because of a blonde groupie. So, I forgave him. Aaron and I worked on our relationship, but Marcus distanced himself a lot from me. I became so focused on my acting, school, and Aaron that sometimes I forgot to check on him until I saw him running to the bathroom holding his mouth once. Marcus, what's up? I waited outside the boys' bathroom and could hear him throwing up. And when he finally came out, he looked so pale and collapsed in my arms. I remember that I did notice the weight loss, but I was so focused on my life that I forgot about him.
Everything is going to be okay, Amari. I'm sure it's nothing big.
But you didn't see how he looked, Mom. I feel like such a bad friend.
When the doctor came, I held Mom's hand tightly.
You can see him now. He just forgot to take his treatment.
Treatment for what?
Leukemia? I assumed you knew about this.
I was so shocked, and my heart raced at the thought of losing Marcus. He has been there for me, like, forever. Even Mom didn't have that kind of bond with me. When I went in to see him, he wasn't wearing his beanie, and he didn't look like Marcus anymore. I couldn't control my tears as he smiled at me.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I didn't want you to be sad. Please don't cry. I'm going to get through this.
Marcus always put my feelings before his. I promised to be there for him throughout his sickness, and he asked me to keep it a secret. And then one day, when Aaron held a beach party just for fun, I also invited Marcus, and Aaron showed me a completely different side to him.
Why did you invite him? I thought you would spend time with just me.
Marcus is my friend, and you have to accept that.
You guys want to play a game of volleyball? Yeah, sure. Amari will be on my team. So why don't you just pick someone to join you?
When I tossed the ball over the net to Marcus, he hit it back, but it flew directly to Aaron, hitting him hard on the head. It was so funny.
Oh, so you all think this is funny?
It's just a game, babe.
I'm so sick and tired of you saying things like that. It's just a game. He's just your friend. But you guys have picnics, homemade dinner dates, and now he's here at my party. I guess all my fancy restaurant dates were never good enough for you.
Aaron, calm down. Aaron went overboard and started yelling at me. Then Marcus stepped in, and Aaron completely lost himself.
Hey, chill out, dude. I'll chill once you get out of our lives. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I was in her life long before you, and I plan on being there right until the end.
Marcus and Aaron pounced on each other, and I tried to separate them, but they were way out of control. And suddenly, Aaron pulled the beanie off Marcus's head, and everyone froze, glaring.
Oh my gosh, what happened to all his hair?
Aaron, have you lost your mind?
Are you going to defend this fool?
Look around, Aaron. You're the only fool here. I left Aaron after that day, and my love for him immediately disappeared. I felt like such a fool to love a jerk like that. Because of Aaron, I lost my acting job, and Aaron did all that he could to convince his father to get rid of me. Months down the line, we lost our house. We had to move into a tiny apartment, and Mom worked double shifts, while I focused a lot on school. It was the end of the year, and school fees were due, but we couldn't afford it. Is it possible for me to get an exemption from paying the school fees?
What are you talking about? It shows here that your school fees have been paid in full.
I was so shocked. I had no idea who could have done something so generous for me. It couldn't have been Marcus, since he came from an average home like me. And Aaron was so yesterday's news. And if that wasn't strange, days later, I found an envelope in my locker filled with cash. The only person rich enough to do all this was Aaron, but it just didn't make sense, so I approached him. I hated being anywhere near Aaron after we broke up, since he'd started dating a new girl every day just to make me jealous. But it never worked.
Hello, Amari. Have you met my present girlfriend?
Oh, wow. Lucky you, Aaron. Now, did you leave something in my locker?
Yes, I actually did. Your poor mother paid me a visit and begged me to take you back, since your life is falling apart. So I paid for your school fees and donated some cash. I'll take you back on one condition. Tell Marcus you want nothing to do with him.
But you're dating me now.
Sorry, honey. I thought I told you that this was a short-term contract.
I was shocked out of my mind after what he told me, so I threw the envelope of cash in his face.
Sorry to burst your bubble, Aaron, but no amount of money can buy me.
I was so mad at my mom that right after school, I went to her workplace and found her sleeping on the job.
Great! So just because you can't keep your eyes open at your job, it doesn't give you the right to go behind my back and speak to Aaron.
Himari, I did it for your own good. Life was good when you and Aaron were together.
Mom, how could you?
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'll fix it.
No! Just stay out of my business!
But I'm your mother. I will always be in your business.
I felt so betrayed by my mom, and the only person that could comfort me in this state was Marcus. So I went to his house. But when I got to his house, I was surprised to find him sitting with a girl.
Himari, is everything okay? You look like you were crying.
Oh, no. I just have a slight flu. Who's your lady friend here?
This is Amy. She's an intern at the hospital where I get my treatment.
Oh, is she here to give you your treatment at home?
Haha, no. We're actually here on a date. I cooked her one of my best meals. There's some left over if you want.
I was so speechless at that moment. I don't know why I felt so jealous. Nice to meet you, Amy. She looked like a sweet girl, but there was this thing inside of me that felt like pouncing on her and telling her to leave Marcus alone because he was mine. I decided to leave before I did anything crazy. The next day, when I saw Marcus sitting alone in the cafeteria, I made my way to him, but stopped when his girlfriend got there before me and sat on his lap. I almost dropped my tray feeling so frustrated, but then Aaron appeared in front of me.
Are you lost? You could sit with me if you want to.
I'd rather eat worms than sit with you.
Aaron became such a nonsense, especially after seeing that Marcus had a girlfriend. He even got his father to offer me my job back, but I had my pride. I was shocked when his dad started making small talk. After school, when I was about to jump into my Mini Cooper, Aaron's father suddenly appeared in the parking lot. Talk about being desperate.
I'll give you 2 popular shows you can star in. Just give Aaron one more chance.
With all due respect, sir, you should really stop spoiling your son. How will he survive if your existence comes to an end? After rejecting the job offer to be back on the screen, I decided to start my own little channel on YouTube. Don't be afraid to try different colors, everyone, even if you're struggling to match them up with your cute outfit. Subscribe to my channel for more ways you can have that glam. Within months, I had 1 million subscribers and started earning an income again. I was more than happy, and the only thing that was missing was Marcus. He spent a lot of his time with his new girlfriend, and I became almost invisible to him until our high school graduation.
Himari, before you go, can I have a word with you for a moment?
Yeah, sure. Marcus looked so handsome in his gown, and when he held my hand to take me aside, I felt so many sparks between us. And then he pulled out a paper plane, the same plane that I saved when a group of mean boys surrounded Marcus when we were little. Wow, you kept this all this time?
Yeah, it was the first day we became friends. And I hope that we are still friends, even though I'm with Amy.
When I looked into his eyes, my heart pounded with so much love for him that I did the unthinkable. I leant over and kissed him softly, and just then his girlfriend appeared, and Marcus pushed me away.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, why did you do that? I thought you were just his friend.
I found the courage to tell him how I felt, right in front of his girlfriend. Marcus, I think I have more than friendship feelings for you. It looked like he was going to say the same thing back to me, but then his girlfriend whispered in his ear.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but I see you as just a friend.
I never felt so humiliated and broken down before. I spent days crying about Marcus and looking back at all the memories we shared, until Mom became tired of me moping around.
Okay, that's enough, young lady. Remember, the sea is filled with fishes. Now that you're done with high school, you can go out there and explore.
Are you chasing me away?
No, silly, but you need to spread your wings. You're already earning a good living doing that YouTube thing, so why not enjoy life at the same time?
Mom was right. Maybe going on a trip would help me forget about Marcus. So I traveled to China, South Africa, Italy, and when I got to New York, I made some connections with Hollywood producers. And the next thing, I was producing movies. I became a big-time producer, and one day, I decided to fly back to my hometown in Australia on a talent search for a star actor for my up-and-coming production. And Aaron suddenly appeared, and he was auditioning for my movie. If we consider you for this role, are you willing to travel?
Of course. Acting is my passion.
He looked and sounded more grown up, and I was impressed with his performance. I decided to give him the lead role, and then we sat down to discuss the contract.
I'm so glad to see you again. I can't believe you are a big-time producer now.
Yeah, and I can't believe you auditioned for my production.
Well, I'm glad I did. I grew up a lot after high school, and I want you to see that.
Once I felt the discussion was going sideways, I made it very clear to him that our relationship was professional. He seemed to understand, and then Marcus suddenly showed up standing at our table and Aaron looked so angry. Marcus, how did you know that I was here?
Your mom told me that you were having dinner with Aaron, and I had to see you before. We are in the middle of something very important here.
I was shocked at Aaron's actions, but what was happening reminded me of high school. Marcus, I'm in an important meeting. Can we catch up later?
No! I need you to know something. When we were in high school, Aaron threatened to ruin your YouTube channel with bad publicity. He was gonna make up some story about you cheating on him, so I agreed to be in a fake relationship with his cousin Amy.
My heart raced with so much rage when he told me that. I know Marcus would do anything to protect me.
He's lying. Don't believe him. We are meant for each other.
I threw my soda in Aaron's face, tore up the contract, and walked out with Marcus. Marcus and I had a lot to talk about, and I was happy that the leukemia was gone and he looked so much stronger.
I'm sorry that I wasn't with you throughout the worst stages of your illness.
Every time I thought of you, I fought harder. Omari, you're not only my best friend, but also my soulmate.
His words made me cry, and my broken heart for so many years was finally healed. Hi, I'm Frida from New York, and this is my story. I've always been a lucky, beautiful child, born to parents who adored me. Dad worked as a scientist for a large corporation, and Mom was a small fashion designer. Our lives were sailing smoothly until Dad's company was robbed by a notorious criminal family, and he was forced to testify against them in court. Because of his brave testimony, the government awarded him a huge sum of money, but at a very dire cost. His testimony landed our lives in danger, and we had to move from one city to another each year. It caused a rift between my parents.
I'm leaving with our child if you move to one more city!
For God's sake, this is the last city. You're safe here.
True to his word, that was the last city we moved to. After 8 years of living there, my parents found their footing in the city and grew popularly wealthy with all the money they made from the court case. And I launched a modeling career that propelled me to stardom because of their influence. Everyone loved me, but the thing they loved most was my hair. I had the most perfect red hair. It was long, curly, and soft like silk. But one day, that changed. It all happened the night Dad had been working on a serious project in his lab when I walked in. Hey Dad, can I borrow the limo for tonight?
Out of the way, honey. I'm busy.
He walked right into me, spilling the entire glass of his experiment on my hair. My hair! I screamed and hurried out of the lab to the bathroom for a deep wash. The events of that night passed by in a blur, but when I woke up the next morning, I had the biggest shock of my life. My beautiful red hair was missing. Dad's chemicals had totally fried all the hair from my head, and Mom went ballistic.
You ruined her perfect hair! You ruined everything! No one will hire her looking like that!
I felt terrible for Dad, but I didn't say anything to help him. After all, he'd ruined my hair.
I know my presence in the house isn't helping, so I'll leave to give you two some space. I'll miss you terribly.
Dad left that day, and we never heard from him again. After a few days without him, I began to feel guilty about his absence from the house. I attempted to contact him, but each call went to voicemail. When I told Mom, she sounded so unconcerned.
Frida, I don't want to hear another word about your father. That man destroys everything he touches.
After that day, I never mentioned Dad again. All I could do was secretly wish for his return. The week after Dad left, I had a professional shoot planned, and Mom made me put on a customized wig, exactly like my hair.
I made this just for you, Frida. Never take it off.
I kissed her goodbye and ran out to meet my super hot, wealthy boyfriend, Davies. He was my partner for the shoot.
Something for my princess?
Oh my god, it's so pretty!
He was also a really sweet boyfriend. He got me so many expensive gifts, I could barely keep count.
I love it!
The necklace was too heavy for my neck, but I endured the weight. I'd do anything for him because he's so perfect.
My name complements your skin so well.
During the shoot, everyone couldn't stop admiring how great Davies and I were together.
You two look like the perfect power couple. Now, stroke Frida's hair gently.
Davies did as he was told, but I felt my wig coming off and stopped the shoot immediately with a lie.
I think I have a headache.
Let me take you home, babe.
Davies' chauffeur drove us home, and during the drive, I felt it was time to confront Davies with the truth. I held his hand and looked him in the eyes with all the love I could muster as I said, "Babe, would you still love me if I changed?
How?
Like, say, I grew a mustache or extra legs or..." He placed his hand on mine and looked at me with concern.
Your hands are shaking, babe. Tell me, what is it?
The soothing way he spoke to me gave me all the confidence I needed, and I spilled the truth. I lost my hair. I took off my wig and explained everything to him, but to my shock, Davies instantly switched. He snatched his arm from mine and moved away like I was a monster.
What happened to your beauty, Freda?
I couldn't believe he reacted this way, since I always believed that true love should always be kind.
I think we should break up. I can't be seen with you looking like that.
So you never loved me?
Oh, come on, Freda. You know we're together because we're perfect for the media. And now what's the point?
You're a jerk, Davies, and I never want to see you again. Here's your stupid, heavy, fake necklace.
I hurled the necklace at him, and then I angrily stopped the car and found my own way back home. Breaking up with Davies had taken a toll on me. I refused to go anywhere until I got my hair back. Every morning, I'd look in the mirror hoping to see some improvement, but there was none. Mom had to drive me to several top hospitals.
Ma'am, the hair follicles are completely damaged. I'm afraid there's nothing we can do.
Over time, I had to learn to live without my hair. I became reliant on wigs, wearing them to every fashion event and show. Nobody could tell the difference. One day, after walking the runway for the New York Fashion Week, I received a call from a strange number. I excused myself to pick it up.
Hey, babe.
It was Davies!
Don't even think about it. If you don't want your secret exposed.
I'd rather eat rocks than be scared of you, Davies.
Really? I wonder what everyone will say once they find out you've been lying to them about your hair.
What do you want? Spill it!
$500,000 delivered to me in cash.
What do you need $500,000 for?
It's none of your business, princess. I'll send the location to you, and I expect to see you in an hour.
He hung up the call before I could say anything, and I headed back to the red carpet with a fake smile. When I finished with the paparazzi, I called my manager for the money. I went to the location with it. When I met Davies, I noticed he looked different.
Where's the money?
Tell me what you need it for. He looked around like we weren't the only ones there. It scared me.
Quit joking around and give it to me.
He snatched the briefcase from my grasp and hurried away. Not even a thank you. I drove away from the scene, angry at him for blackmailing me. But as time passed, I became so preoccupied with shoots and interviews that I completely forgot about him. Then school resumed, and I was swarmed by a horde of obsessed students on the first day.
Oh my god, Freda! I want to be exactly like you.
What do you use on your skin?
Someone suddenly grabbed my arm, yanking me away from the crowd. It was a girl I'd never seen before. She wore enormous glasses.
Pardon me, but I noticed you needed saving.
I did. You're like an angel sent from heaven. Thank you.
I'm Mindy, and I'm new here. What's your name?
I'm Freda.
Glad to make your acquaintance, Freda.
You could just say friend, you know.
I wouldn't want to profess intimate conversance with your person so early.
I just knew she was a big nerd with all that word salad. I nodded along like I understood her.
By the way, would you mind showing me around?
Of course. As I showed Mindy around the school, we talked about a lot of things and instantly clicked. She became my best friend. One time, we were on our way to the gym when we bumped into Davies, the last person on Earth I wanted to see.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the princess and her new crony.
Don't speak about my friend like that! Can't you leave me alone?
Remember, I know your secret, Baldy.
Only because I told you. Don't act like it's a groundbreaking discovery you made yourself, pea-brain.
Speaking about pea-brains, I have an assignment for you.
If it's money to do whatever shady thing you're up to,
You and I know you've taken more than that from me.
What do you mean taken? I didn't ask you to spend money on me.
This is different. I need you to do my school assignments.
Before I knew it, he dropped a hefty sack of books into my arms. And as if that wasn't enough, he audaciously brought his face close to mine as he said,
Also, my lips have missed yours. I'm sure yours have as well.
I'd rather make out with a piece of wood than you.
Why don't we check that out?
Before I could react, Mindy's arm came from behind me and punched him in the face, throwing him back. She stood in front of me like my knight in shining armor.
You doll cop! You have no right to kiss a lady against her will!
Davy's face went red with embarrassment. He got up, about to attack her, when some students rushed out of the gym in front of us.
I'll get you for that!
As soon as Davies left, I turned to Mindy and hugged her. Thank you. What does Dalcott mean anyway?
Oh, it's just a silly old English word for a stupid person.
You could have just called him an idiot.
Sorry, seeing the buffoon mess with you made me really mad.
I thought about telling Mindy my secret as well, but I decided to keep it to myself. I wasn't ready to lose another friend, and Mindy was a great friend. I took her to all my fashion events, and we raided my closet together whenever she visited the house.
I like this!
That's my mom's signature diamond gown. It's the only one in existence.
Ooh, sounds expensive. I'll put it back.
Well, you can have any other clothes you want. I gave Mindy a makeover, and when we showed up to school that morning, everyone was drooling all over us. The school year came to an end, and I received an email from a famous fashion brand asking me to model for them and inviting me to their show in France.
$1 million every month? This is the request of a lifetime!
I invited her on the trip, and together we began to plan for it. But one day, I got the most shocking news from the fashion brand canceling their offer. They claimed I had sent them an email offering my spot to a model named Elaine Holt, whom I had never met. Someone was obviously attempting to sabotage me. This has to be Davy's handiwork. He's the only one with access to my emails. I headed home and gave Mom the news, leaving out the part of Davy's blackmailing me, and she gave me a brilliant suggestion.
You should go to France. If the organizers see you, they'll want you back.
I quickly packed up my suitcase and flew to France. The model show was that night, so I styled myself in a pretty red dress and showed up at the event. And you wouldn't believe who I saw. It was Mindy, dressed in Mom's signature diamond gown. She was without her glasses and looked so different. And she was with Davies. Anger filled my body as I walked over to them.
If it isn't the two little thieves! Took you time to finally find us out, huh? Pretending to be your friend was so exhausting. And all that English was hurting my mouth. Also, thank you for the gown.
So you're together?
Together? No, she is my sister.
I don't understand. Suddenly, a woman who looked exactly like Davies walked into our conversation.
Frida, it's nice to meet you again. We've never met. We have, child. Years ago, when your silly father gave that testimony against my family in court, stealing everything from us, we went into debt. And Elaine here came up with the brilliant suggestion of Davies dating you. We're going to steal everything from you, just like you did to us.
Mindy was Elaine? That was when it dawned on me. She was the one who stole my deal.
But Davies was losing his grip, so I had to step in.
You know, I'm still not over that punch you gave me.
Oh, get over it, big head.
I blanked into pure rage and attacked Mindy. We both landed on the floor, drawing everyone's attention. In the midst of the fight, Davies stepped in and pulled off my wig, revealing my bald head to everyone.
Everyone, Frida is an imposter.
That silly girl attacked my child for confronting her about her lies. Throw her out!
I was thrown out of the event, and I flew back home in disgrace. When I got home, I was surprised to find Dad. When he saw me, he opened his arms for a hug, and I ran into them with tears in my eyes.
Oh, Dad! I've missed you so much!
I've missed you more, honey.
I was so overcome with emotions that I started spilling everything that happened.
Those criminals finally found us. This is all my fault, honey. I'll fix this.
Meanwhile, word of my fake hair went viral. Companies were canceling invitations to me. I couldn't go anywhere without being followed by the paparazzi. But one day, Dad came up with a plan.
Honey, I need you to find a way to make Davies or Elaine confess on tape to their crimes.
That night, I called Davies for a meetup with the pretext that I wanted to apologize for my family.
Finally realized your mistakes?
Yes, and I'm sorry for everything my family did to yours. Saying the words to him was so difficult, but I needed to put on the facade for just a short while until he confessed.
You're not upset about me blackmailing you? And Elaine, posing as your friend to steal your spot in the model show.
Bingo!
You know what? I'm angry, and you and your sister can eat dirt for all I care.
My switch in attitude startled him, and I smiled as I walked away. As soon as I got home, I gave Dad the recorder, and the next day, he came into my room with big news.
Davies and his family have just been arrested.
I threw myself against him in a hug, and Mom suddenly walked in with remorse written all over her face.
I have something to say. I'm sorry for the way I treated you, darling. I'm sorry for taking your father away from you. Will both of you ever forgive me?
Come here, baby.
Dad opened his arms wide and Mom joined in the hug. The news of Davies and Elaine's arrest spread quickly. Suddenly, I began to receive modeling offers again. My fan base grew, and everyone felt bad for how I was blackmailed. Bald models reached out to me, giving me encouraging words. I confidently stopped wearing my wigs and began to appear to more shows in my natural state. I even received several awards, proceeds of which I donated to charity.
I dedicate this award to everyone like me who is still trying to come to terms with their real self.
There was one thing I learned in all of this, and that was to love myself no matter my flaws. I wasn't made to be perfect. I was made to be me.
Whoa, that was close. Ever since I was little, Dad and I have always been like two peas in a pod. We lived by the sea and swam together with the sea animals every day. But my mom, aka Miss Perfect, was never happy about anything. She loved complaining. Oh, and I forgot to mention, please like and subscribe to Storytime Animated.
Mom, meet my pet, Inky. Dad and I saved it from a shark.
What? Sea animals are not pets. They're dangerous. Your father knows better. We work with them every day. You're too paranoid. She loves the octopus and it's harmless. She can keep it.
My parents worked together as marine scientists at a multi-billion government research lab named Vaught's Lab. But they never saw eye to eye on things, especially with the sea animals they worked with. And she always liked picking a fight with Dad about money. Once Dad took us out to a fancy restaurant for my 15th birthday, Mom looked at the bill and threw such a tantrum, embarrassing both me and Dad.
Why would you bring us to a place that would cost us an arm and a leg? Calm down, darling. We can afford it. And plus, it's for our baby girl. Well, our lifestyle is getting a little too expensive, and one of us has to do something to make sure we don't lose everything.
I didn't know what Mom was talking about, but all I knew is that she just ruined my birthday. And then soon after, the next worst thing in my life happened. It happened during my school's talent show. I had been performing with Inky when cops suddenly stormed into the auditorium and headed straight for Dad and the crowd of parents.
Mr. Johnson, we're here to arrest you for fraud and illegal trade of sea animals from Vaught's Lab.
I couldn't believe my ears. I knew my dad. He loved animals. He'd never sell them. I ran down from the stage and grabbed the cop.
Let him go! My dad is innocent!
But they pushed me away like I was an insect and dragged Dad away. Everyone in the auditorium stared at us and I was so embarrassed. After that day, Dad's face was plastered all over the media. And in school, whispers started to fly around about my family. And one day, I overheard Elijah, a cop's son in my school, discussing my business in a crowd of people and it drove me crazy.
Don't you have something better to do than gossip?
Like committing fraud?
I lost it and pounced on him, but after a few seconds, the principal showed up and dragged me away from Elijah into his office, where he dropped a bombshell.
You'll be expelled.
What? That's not fair!
I don't want to do this, but your father offended the government, and it puts this school in a bad spotlight. There's nothing I can really do.
Like an outcast, I was banished from the school grounds. The only way my family and I would be fine again is if my dad was proven innocent. So I decided to snoop around the lab where my parents worked. As soon as Mom found out what I was up to, she went crazy.
Give it up! Your dad is a criminal! Do you also want to follow in his footsteps?
I couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth.
Dad is not a criminal, Mom. Someone's probably setting him up. We need to search the lab. Dad keeps everything from work in there.
There are harmful chemicals in there. I am not letting you in. And stay away from the investigation. If the cops find out what you're up to, they could arrest you for interfering, and you'll end up like your criminal father.
Jeez, it feels like you don't care that Dad is in jail.
Mom ignored me, and her actions just didn't make any sense. Why was she not concerned about Dad the way I was? Mom started acting strange. Like one day, I opened my cupboards and found all my swimsuits shredded into pieces.
Mom, what is the meaning of this?
I'm just protecting you. Who knows? Maybe you carry the same madness like your dad. The further you stay away from the sea, the better.
The next day, she installed security cameras all over the house to make sure I never went near the sea or the aquarium. Well, she missed a spot, the backyard.
Get back into the house right now!
Mom's punishment made me so sad that I confided in Inky one morning. Even though he was an animal, I felt he understood me more than people. Sometimes, I feel like Mom hates me. Inky pointed one of his tentacles to a poster of an event Dad wanted to take me to before his arrest.
STA invites you to their annual Marine Life Festival, where we can all be free like the fish. Inky, you're a genius! You're right, I can find people that know Dad at that event and ask them questions.
The next day, as soon as Mom left for work, I snuck out of the house in a disguise to the festival. As I walked around searching for familiar faces, I bumped into Elijah, and I hated to admit it, but he looked different. cuter. Not like it made any difference. He was the last familiar face I wanted to see.
Are you blind? Couldn't you see me coming? Sorry, I got distracted taking pictures of dolphins.
Was he apologizing? That didn't sound like Elijah at all. Maybe it was because he couldn't recognize me. Either way, I felt like a huge jerk.
I'm sorry for yelling at you. Is that one of the pictures?
Yeah, just a couple of basic photos the organizers hired me to take.
Wow, he was a really good photographer.
They're perfect.
I could take one of you if you want.
Of course I do.
I posed next to the dolphins and Elijah took some great photos.
You are so photogenic. I feel like I've seen you before. What's your name?
I'm Kat. I have to go now.
Wait, can I at least get your number?
I quickly wrote down a fake number and hurried off before he recognized me. When I got home, Mom was waiting for me in my room.
What are you doing in my room?
Did you really think I wouldn't notice your disguise at an event where my workplace was a sponsor?
Okay, maybe I should have done some browsing before sneaking out, but I had no idea Elijah was going to publish my photos.
I'm sorry. I just needed to clear my head. A lot has been weighing on me, and Inky is the only one here for me. You're never here.
And now, he'll no longer be, because of your silly act.
Mom suddenly grabbed Inky's aquarium, and I just couldn't watch her take the only friend I had away.
Mom, please, don't take Inky away! I'm doing this for your own good. Sea animals are dangerous.
Inky squirted some ink at Mom's face in defense.
See? Dangerous! Just like I told you!
He's not! He felt threatened by you!
If you enjoy him that much, I'll lock you two in here forever!
Like a lunatic, Mom grabbed my room keys and stomped outside, then turned around to lock my door.
Mom! Mom! Please unlock my door!
No matter how loud I screamed, Mom pretended not to hear me, and I went over to Inky to complain some more about her. But to my surprise, he attacked me too.
What are you doing? You're hurting me!
After nearly an hour of struggling, Inky released me with a small bite, and when I looked at my face in the mirror, I let out the loudest scream ever, then zoned out. The next time I woke up, I found myself in the hospital, with Mom beside my bed.
What happened? That octopus attacked you! I told you that sea animals were dangerous, but you never listened to me! I already took him out of your room.
Slowly, the events of that day poured into my brain.
No, Mom, you can't! It wasn't his fault! Shh. Don't stress yourself. I'll bet you're hungry. I'll order some food and head straight to work. See you later.
An hour after Mom left, someone walked into my room, and I was shocked to find Elijah with a pizza box.
Ma'am, you ordered for pizza?
Oh my god, not him again! I pulled the blankets over my face and changed my voice.
Welcome, strange boy I don't know at all. Just drop the pizza on the table and go. Thank you, Elijah. How do you know my name?
Oops.
Wait a minute.
Elijah suddenly walked up to me and pulled the blanket away from my face.
If it isn't the criminal's daughter.
If it isn't the dude who can't stick to one job, photographer, delivery man, what's the next thing?
That was you at the event? You must have had some fun tricking me, Kat.
You bet I did, and you fell for it.
To my surprise, Elijah slumped beside me with a tired expression.
I guess I did. Deserve that for being a jerk, huh?
Yeah, you were a jerk at school, but I'm over that now.
I guess since I know about your dad, it's only fair I tell you about mine. He did some investment that didn't pay too well, and now he's broke. I have to work multiple jobs to help out.
I'm sorry about that. I wish there was something I could do to help.
It's fine. I'm sorry about your dad, too. I don't really think he's a criminal. I was just being a jerk.
Elijah and I became cool, and when the hospital discharged me, he dropped me home, and to my surprise, Mom was quite welcoming. I guess my illness made her relax a little.
Why don't you come over for dinner someday? You can bring your parents, too. Sure will, ma'am. Goodbye, Elizabeth.
After that day, Elijah and I hung out a few times around the beach, and I carefully followed Mom's instructions. I avoided the sea and never asked about Inky, so she wouldn't get upset with me again, which made her happy. But then, one midnight, I noticed something strange. I heard some noise and looked through the window, only to find Mom talking to some strange men beside a truck. It made me really curious, and I tiptoed outside to check what they were up to. And you'd never guess what I found at the back of the truck. Aquariums! Lots and lots of them.
Mom? What's going on?
Just some work stuff. Nothing serious. Go back to bed, honey.
But...
Mom gently nudged me into the house, and I couldn't help but wonder why she was acting strange. My gut feeling told me that she was up to something. The next evening, when Elijah and his dad came over for dinner, Mom took a 360 turn.
Thank you for inviting us to dinner. It's good to see you're doing better after your husband's arrest. I know I'm a cop, but if you need a shoulder... Excuse me. You're a what?
Mom quickly rose from her seat and started to yell at Elijah's father like a maniac.
I don't want cops in my house! After what you did to my husband, you have so much guts! Leave this instant!
Jeez, what was wrong with her?
Please?
Don't worry, we're leaving. You're right. It was rude of me to show up here.
As soon as Elijah and his dad left, Mom faced me.
Didn't I warn you to stay away from the investigation?
I didn't know his dad was a cop. And since when did you care about Dad's arrest so much that you don't want a cop around?
Why don't you stay out of adults' business? Go play with your dumb octopus or something.
You took him away, remember? I miss Dad so much. You're so mean. I dashed up to my room and shut the door behind me. I had just about enough of Mom and her harshness towards me. As I was lying in my bed, lost in thought, I suddenly heard pebbles softly hitting my window. It was Elijah! Oh, I was so excited to see him! With my help, he climbed into my room and I hugged him. I'm so sorry about my mom's outburst.
It's okay. I wanted to make sure you were alright.
I was tired of keeping everything to myself and decided to let it all out.
I'm not. Mom is so difficult to live with, and she's been acting strange. I think she's up to something. Yeah, her outburst at the table today was unusual. What do you think we should do?
Investigate. I need to find out why she's suddenly acting this way. We'll start with that lab of hers.
I hid Elijah in my room for a few hours until I was certain Mom wouldn't be in the lab, at which point we snuck out and were met by Mom's security system.
Do you have any idea what it might be?
Yeah, I think I saw her type her password on her laptop once. Let me try anglefish.
And voila! It worked! Elijah and I went in and found so many animals and aquariums in the lab, including my pet octopus, Inky. I found some stash of papers near his aquarium and studied them.
Are those receipts and invoices?
Yes. I think my mom has been the one stealing sea animals from her workplace and selling them to people. And she was going to sell Inky as well. Poor Inky. No wonder he attacked me.
He could sense he was in danger when I couldn't even tell. Octopuses were really smart. I looked around and noticed that there was a lot of evidence against Mom, showing that she had framed Dad for her crimes.
Quick, take pictures of everything you find, Elijah. This is evidence that my dad is innocent.
Elijah started taking pictures, and I grabbed Inky's aquarium. As soon as he was done, we hurried to the door, but not fast enough, because Mom walked in on us.
If it isn't my foolish daughter and her boyfriend, you two should have never come here.
Give it up, Mom. We know what you've been up to. That's why you freaked out when you found out Elijah's dad was a cop, huh?
I was doing everything in here for us, but your foolish father, like you, couldn't understand. You two think you're so clever, but I'm making a lot of money for our family. How do you think we managed to afford all this?
I didn't ask you to commit crimes to make money. I just wanted a mother, and you were a terrible one.
Shut up, you ungrateful child!
Mom blocked the doorway with her body.
You'll have to go through me!
Well, that was easy. I held on to Inky as I ran, head straight into Mom, pushing her to the ground.
Come on, Elijah, let's hurry!
You'll regret this!
As Elijah drove us to his, 3 dark cars suddenly showed up and started chasing us. Elijah surprised me with his driving skills and managed to lose them.
Where did you learn to drive like that?
My dad is a cop, remember? I learn a lot from him.
As soon as we reached Elijah's house, he reversed his bike and his dad immediately came out.
Dad, we need your help urgently. What's wrong?
My mom is after us. We found out she framed my dad for her crimes. We have all the evidence here.
Wow, that's a lot. Hold on, kids. I'll get my keys and drive you to the station.
I didn't hesitate to expose my mom, because what she did was so wrong, and didn't even care about Dad, who always treated her like a queen. The next day, the news about Mom's crimes spread like wildfire, and she was arrested by a team led by Elijah's dad right before she could escape. He got a huge raise for his involvement in the case.
I never got the chance to say thank you for helping me. You're an amazing person.
You're amazing too. I hope we never stop being friends.
When my dad was released from prison, I was over the moon.
Dad! I've missed you so much! You weren't around and Mom made my life hell.
I heard about that. I wish she had listened to me, but she got too greedy.
Well, it doesn't matter now. She's paying for her crimes.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go home.
I'd take spending time with the people I loved any day over wealth and theft.